You're watching McKinney Vision, online, on air.
It is one of the most demanding jobs imaginable. You have to have the ability to run an operation with hundreds of employees and a budget approaching $120 million. Add to that a demanding list of priorities that includes expanding an economic base on the heels of one of the deepest recessions in decades. But Jason Gray knew what he was getting into before he took the job.
The details are different. Certainly in my previous job with Salina, the size and the scope is a little bit different. But really when it comes to full service cities, they all do generally the same job. I mean, we have an airport here, and that's a little bit of a different twist. That's not necessarily something that you find in every community. But as far as the police services and fire services and potholes and picking up garbage and looking at water bills and all those sorts of things, regardless of the size of the city, those are the same kinds of issues, and the services that you're delivering to the community and to the citizens is essentially the same. And so the way that I've looked at the transition between Salina and McKinney really is a number of how many digits are in the number of employees or in the population or in the budget or whatever the case may be. And so that really hasn't been that strange of a transition, if you will, even though there is a significant difference in size. Every city has its own sort of personality, if you will. And so the issues that are here are absolutely different than the issues that are just to the west in Frisco, that are just to the northwest in Salina. There's different political issues, there's different issues that are on the top of mind for citizens. The types of issues are generally the same, but the way that those are prioritized throughout the community really is different. And that's something that I've found here as well. There is a personality to McKinney, and it's one that I happen to enjoy very much.
To me, it's one of the hardest jobs you could possibly have, and I don't think people really understand how difficult it is to be a city manager for a city of any size, because you're dealing with the community. You're not a political figure, but you're in one of the most political positions, because you're answering to people who are elected every other year, that any given year they could say, let's go a different direction. And you're also having to meet the needs of the basic needs from a departmental standpoint with all your employees, and dealing with streets and fire and police and all of that. So it's a tough job.
Thank you, Julie. And thank you for being here in McKinney with us today on this beautiful day.
The last couple of years really have provided these communities, and McKinney again is no exception to this, an opportunity to really start focusing in on what it is that we want, why we want it, and again, not just sort of get starry-eyed and say growth for the sake of growth. That's never a good idea. What we've been able to do here and through the planning process is to be able to target some industries that we think are viable, that increase not only the size of our tax base as any growth will, but the diversity of our tax base, which is vitally important from a sustainability standpoint, to make sure that as these recessions come and go, that the community is able to continue to fund the services that are important to it.
McKinney will eventually be Collin County's largest city, and it's up to the city manager to see that sustainable growth, economic development, and a quality of life that make McKinney stand out from suburban sprawl is maintained. The challenges and opportunities that McKinney faces seem overwhelming, but Jason Gray is up to the task of living up to McKinney's bright future. Carl Schuckman, McKinney Vision.